Hello Bishes, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a what's in my bag video just to showcase some of the contents within my bag because you know on YouTube there's a lot of YouTubers or people from different fields and backgrounds showcasing what's inside their bag, and I've always thought it would be interesting to show what's inside the bag of someone who's an animator or someone who, you know, has an interest for visual storytelling and just, you know, what someone like me would carry around because at this point I'm just a selfish ass, narcissistic ass bitch. Let's get a little bit more nosy and take a peek of what's in my bag. So to start off with the type of bag I have your super basic man crow bag, which you can literally just find this bag on Amazon. It's like one of the first things you'll see when you look up backpacks for laptops, and I've been carrying this bag around since I was in CalArts and it has still survived this whole time. It's been about 2 to 3 years. I have not switched it out, and I swear to God that I've seen literally more than 10 people with the same ass bag as I do, but it's okay. I get it. We all love functionality and I prioritize that over fashion, despite the fact I'm wearing this overly obnoxious jacket right now. But yeah, the point is that this bag is really great for just carrying a lot of shit around. Hold on, let me try to adjust this camera so that you can actually see me opening this bag. So I usually just carry around a shit ton of notebooks and a shit ton of sketchbooks around just because I always feel like I need to compartmentalize like my brain into different sections, and a lot of my coworkers have actually made a comment about how many notebooks I have and how many journals I have, and they're just like, Michelle, I really knew that you were into journaling and sketching or whatever, but I didn't know you were that into journaling or sketching stuff. And I was just like, yep, that's me. Here are all the different notebooks that I have. Let me just take them out first. Oh my God. So yeah, you see this. This is how many notebooks I carry around inside my backpack. And I just like to say that this is just my brain separated into many different books. I also have my iPad Pro, and this is the one from 2017, totally not sponsored, but you know, if Apple ever feels like sponsoring me, I'm not gonna complain about it. And the last book I have in here is, of course, my Succubishes book. So you know, if you're ever interested in purchasing your own copy in which I will sign with, you know, a little niche doodle next to it, you can check out my Etsy store. This was totally not sponsored by myself, but if you're wondering why I carry this around in my bag, it's actually because I was supposed to give this to someone and they still have not picked it up from me, so I've just carried it around my backpack in the situation that, you know, we're going to meet up and I can just give it to them just because we're both co-workers. But also it's a great opportunity to promote myself. The book just pretty much features all the comics from my Instagram page if you want a, you know, physical version of it where you can look at it without burning your eyes from the light of your screens. And lastly, I have this little Gudetama pouch which just carries all my feminine care shit because, you know, a bitch does have her periods, and a bitch also does have a very increased risk of getting UTIs, so this is where I carry all the stuff for it. I can do another video about this another day, but I just feel like this is totally unrelated to the other stuff I'm going to talk about, so I'll save this bag for another day. But yeah, let's get straight to the juicy content within my bag, and at this point everything is already outside of my bag, so I'm not even sure if this is considered a what's in my bag video anymore because, you know, this was once in my bag like a few minutes ago, but I already dumped everything out at this point. So first is my iPad Pro, my handy dandy iPad Pro. Oh. I have the iPad Pro from 2017, and the original reason why I bought this iPad was just because I needed a way to actually be able to finish some digital drawings without having to sit at the discomfort of my desk. Like, I really just hated having to be bound to my desk and just draw with my Intuos tablet while looking at my laptop. I really wanted, you know, a device that will allow me to go to cafes, sit on my couch or just go somewhere else and just be able to still draw a finalized digital drawing. And this is actually where I do produce like most of my comics and the finished art for it. Oh my god, I already got my makeup on. This is where I produce most of my comics and color them and draw them and everything. But you know, maybe someday in the future a bish will get a Cintiq. So next I have a Midori A5 graph paper notebook where this is where I pretty much plan all of my comics, and this was actually my planner from my third year at CalArts, and I tried to bullet journal in this, except now I kind of just use it as a place to plan my comics because I just kind of stopped using this as a planner during my third year because bullet journaling in itself is its own work and I could not continue to maintain that. So instead, rather than just wasting another notebook and buying a new sketchbook for my Succubish's comics, I decided that I will just use this in continuation of just planning out my comics because I felt like I did not want to waste paper and I was just tired of having a collection of super blank notebooks and sketchbooks that were just gonna be untouched, so might as well save a tree and make use of a pre-existing sketchbook. And then next, I have my Blogilates 2019 planner, in which I get a lot of questions about what planner I use on my Instagram. And I mean, I feel like I've mentioned it 10 million times at this point that, you know, if you don't know what planner I'm using, you're just doing a really bad job at stalking me. But I just got this planner last year because it was really last year that I decided that I want to get a structured planner because bullet journaling was just something that, again, was not really working well for me when I just really wanted to write down the things I had to do and have a layout for it to be functional and whatnot. So that's why I just wanted to get a standard planner that would just get me to just write the things down without me having to decorate it. What I like about this planner is that it's mostly health oriented, and during that time when I was looking for a planner, I was not sure of what planner I wanted to get because I knew I needed to focus on my health and fitness stuff and what I was eating because those were the things that was so easy for me to just ignore and not pay attention to, that if I got a planner that at least focused on my diet, water intake, and what workout I did for that day, I would be held accountable for doing those things and I wouldn't have to just keep it all in my head and just say, oh, I'll do that later, and then eventually never do it. So that's why I kind of got this planner, was because I knew that I could do my actual work in terms of my comics and projects, but when it came to my fitness and health, it's something that will always just subconsciously take a back seat in the back of my brain. So I needed a planner that will force me to actually write that shit down and do it. In addition to my Blogilates 2019 planner, I also have the Hobo Nietzsche 2020 cousin planner, in which I just recently got this, but I carry it around anyway with me just because, like, I do need to keep track of what's going to be happening within the next year, as it is November now and I'm already planning a lot of things for 2020, such as projects that some of y'all do not know about yet but will know next year. And I'm also just keeping track of like my vacation days for next year because we're already like planning stuff at work for what's happening next year. So I already have to keep note of all of that stuff, and you know, time is flying faster than you know it, so I'm trying to just make sure I take a note of everything before I just forget it for next year. And in addition to this Hobo Nietzsche planner, I also got this from Target called the So Many Planner Stickers, and it's just basically a sticker book from Pipsticks in which there are many different stickers inside that you can use for your planners. And the reason why I just got this was because the Hobo Nietzsche 2020 planner is very different from the Blogilates planner. It's just pretty much very blank space, but it's more designed for functionality, and because it's still so blank but so delicate and whatnot, I still wanted to be able to make it look cute and just have some fun with my planning, because you know, if I'm gonna get very like anal about things I'm gonna do, I might as well leave some room for fun with the planning aspect and just put a sticker here and there to have something to look forward to. But yeah, I haven't really gotten the chance to use this that much just because it's not 2020 yet, but I do enjoy this cute little cover, and I feel like it's still matching the Blogilates planner in terms of that pastel color. And then next, I carried this little random sketchbook that I got around, but I kind of just use it as a journal to just plan out my YouTube videos because I feel like I could always write things on a Word document, but one of the reasons why I actually carry all of these notebooks around, and this one as well, instead of just making a Word document out of everything, is just because I feel like in a day and age where we're always just looking at the computer screen, even for me, I'm like using an iPad and a Cintiq at work just to draw and make my comics or do my work at work. It's just like, it gets very draining to always be looking at a screen and just always having to just type stuff or just use vector tools on a program and whatnot. So I would just rather have that chance to be able to have that pen to paper experience while I can, and I feel like when I do this, I'm more likely to remember the things I say I will do or the ideas that I had, and I feel like I just get a more raw experience doing this stuff because, you know, at the end of the day, we are people and we do need our times off the screen, and that is why I like to contain almost pretty much all of my brain outside of technology. Like, I like to keep technology as the way to produce my finalized work and how to finalize the rendering for my stuff. But in terms of planning, thumbnailing, and just thinking about stuff, in this notebook is where I pretty much just plan out my YouTube videos, and as you can see, this is where I planned out my last video, in which you can check out on my channel about different ways you can use your sketchbook, and I can even just put a layout of the things I plan to be doing as well as the thoughts that I plan to incorporate in it. So that's why I kind of just like to write in blank notebooks. Then next, I have this small little Fabriano sketchbook. It's a really small pocket-sized sketchbook, and I've actually created sketchbook tours on this type of sketchbook before that you can just check out on my channel once again. But this sketchbook is just a pocket-sized sketchbook, and even though it's a sketchbook, again, I'm not really drawing in this one. This is where I pretty much take notes of meetings and phone calls that I have at work, which is why I cannot really show you anything in this. But if I do have a page, I hope I can show it to you. This is just where I pretty much write those things down just because it's a really small notebook and I don't really feel like I need to do anything amazing and crazy with this. Like, it even already fell apart and I really don't give a shit. And then next is this little notebook slash sketchbook that I got from Alaska. It's one of those vintage book journals where this previously used to be an actual book, as you can see, and they repurposed it to be a sketchbook, and they still keep like some of the pages of the beginning of the book, which I think is really cool and gives that like vintage vibe and whatnot. But again, like, I just really enjoy keeping a variety of different sketchbooks from different places that I go to. So because I got this sketchbook from Alaska, I actually like to use this as my travel journal in terms of just planning out my travels and going to places and actually making note of the itineraries and the prices of where I plan to go. And then after I plan all of that stuff, I plan to then stick like ticket stubs or little pieces of paper that I collect from that location. I haven't done anything in this yet, but I plan to eventually when I actually go to where I plan to go. But right now I just started this journal. So yeah, it's just gonna be really interesting to just look at this book in the future and just see, ooh, this is where I plan to go and this is how much planning I did for it, and then seeing like all the pasted pieces of paper I put in it. And the second to last book that I got is this Leeta art supply book, which they actually sent me this sketchbook a long time ago, like 2 years ago, and I felt really bad that I was never able to have the chance to feature this on my channel just because it's really been super busy and hectic for me. It's been really hard for me to fill out sketchbooks, but I finally found a reason to fill this one in. This one is for kind of a secret project that I am not really ready to talk about yet, but I will say that it is for the sake of planning a story with a more structured plot and a long form story, because as you can see with the comics that I do on my Instagram, it is very like short form comics. They're just 10 pages or a few panels long, and that is the story. But for this one, I am actually planning a longer, bigger story that, you know, maybe I will pitch around, who knows. And then lastly, I've mentioned this notebook on my Instagram stories before, but it is actually my diary slash journal, and it literally says, "I will kill you if you read this," because that is why we're not going to look through this book, is because it is literally where I place down all my dirty thoughts, not dirty thoughts, but it's actually where I write stuff whenever I feel anxious, sad, angry, upset, or even happy, and I just want to remember that memory, because I've definitely taken journaling a lot more seriously, and as someone who, you know, has a lot of projects and stuff going on, including personal stuff going on in my relationships with family and friends and stuff. This is kind of just where I dump out all of this shit in my brain that I just feel like I need further clarification or just, you know, thinking about, just because I don't want to get overly anxious throughout the day. And if this is a habit that I can do to maintain my anxiety, nervousness, sadness, anger, annoyances, whatever, this is where I put it down. And after I write my stuff down, which is normally about like 4 pages long, is when I actually feel ready to move on with my day. Like there gets to a point where I'm just writing so much in this book where I'm actually starting to get over the anxiety in my brain that I'm like, okay, I'm actually getting over this now, so I can put this book down and finish my writing prompt, and I feel better after I finish writing my stuff. Like, I don't feel automatically better, like I don't feel like I found the fountain of youth or cured my problems, but it has definitely helped maintain my stress and all of that without having it get in the way of my day-to-day activities. So yeah, that was pretty much all the stuff within my bag. I also just have this pencil case that I got from Japan called Love Illusion. I just really like it because it's a heart and it's pink and black, which is, you know, like my favorite color combination at the moment, which is such a millennial color scheme, by the way. But yeah, even though this video was not necessarily for the sake of education, I hope that this video at least inspired some of y'all to have a notebook or sketchbook that you can carry around and put in your own thoughts, ideas, or whatever it is you plan to do. I just think that it is great to have options that do not require you to be on the screen all the time, because I feel like even though I produce a lot of my stuff through Photoshop or Procreate or a digital platform, I still feel like I lose a sense of touch with what I'm doing if I don't have that direct contact with pen and paper. And that is why I kind of just carry all of these books around, because even though it makes my backpack a little bit heavier, it's not too heavy to the point where I regret having all of these things around. But you know, it's just throughout the day I feel like I have different thoughts and ideas that pop up, and when I write them down on the piece of paper or the notebook that I have, it just makes it more memorable and it makes it a more pleasant experience than just writing it down on my phone or just writing it down on Microsoft Word or Google Docs. So yeah, thanks for watching this video. Again, you can check out Succubishes on my Etsy shop and all of my other merch and apparel and the things that I pretty much plan for throughout all of these notebooks and sketchbooks. But yeah, thanks again for watching this video. I'll see y'all in the next one, and stay wholesome, bishes.